Good morning. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West on this last day of December 2023 in Brookfield, Wisconsin, or as they're saying online, 123, 123. It is good to be together on traditional territory inhabited at various times by the native peoples of the seven council fires, Ho-Chunk, Kickapoo, Potawatomi, Menominee, Peoria, and Miami nations. May we be humbly grateful for the privilege of living here. As an anti-racist faith community, we acknowledge our need to address the racism which continues to lead to the violent deaths and oppression of Jews, Black and Indigenous peoples, and other people of color. Anti-Semitism, racism, and colonialism continue to perpetuate inequalities, injustices, poverty, and exclusion in our society, in our neighborhoods, and it is our work to dismantle these systems of oppression. As a welcoming congregation to gay, lesbian, transgendered, bisexual, and queer plus people, we continue to address ongoing homophobia, violence, and unfair treatment and unfair legislation targeting them. With this awareness close to our bones, we commit ourselves to the values of equity, racial justice, and right relations. My name is Kathy White, and I serve on UUCW's Board of Trustees. As I reflect on this ending year, I'm grateful for newfound love my daughter Lisa has discovered with her partner Ignacio. I also celebrate my son Greg's new significant other, Tanya, and I congratulate my daughter Jenny and her husband Kevin on their marriage. Today we are learning more about mirroring liberating love, inspired by a quote by James Baldwin, which you'll hear more about later. When I was on a retreat this month, we broke into pairs where person A did actions and person B was a mirror reflecting these actions. At first, the A people were doing exaggerated, strenuous actions which their mirroring Bs could barely manage. Our facilitator stopped us and told the A people to slow down. We learned that the point of this exercise was to always look for ways to make our partner look good. This congregation expands beyond these walls as each week there are 50 to 60 folks joining us virtually. From many places at different times, we are creating a community of companions who choose to walk life's path together. So wherever you are right now, whatever your age or color, whatever your gender identity, whatever your chosen beliefs, whoever you love, you are welcome here. I say again, it's so good to be together. And here's a bit of housekeeping. This is a multi-generational community, and there are a variety of ways for all ages to participate. There is no nursery childcare today, but children as young as 4 years old will be welcome to join Group RE downstairs. It's like a lot of them are already gone. Alternatives for parents with children under 4 are the worship exploration table over there, the community room with live stream, and the nursery room with parent supervision. If you're a newcomer here, I hope you picked up a flyer, which is right at the entrance coming in here, on the way in that tells you all about what to expect and how to connect. We'd love to have you fill out the welcome side of the yellow paper, which was included today with your order of service. And if you're online and want more information, please email us at visitor@uucw.org. There's a time for coffee, tea, and conversation for everyone following the service. We know that not every space or noise level suits everyone, so find a comfortable place to hang out, here in the community room, in the library, and then challenge yourself to talk to someone you've not yet met. Let's continue to build community together. And just another note on joys and concerns, you can always go into the e-news and virtually put a joy and concern in there for our call, Reverend Julie. Okay, and I want to highlight a couple of things. There's this, which you might find printed in your order of service. There are many announcements today, so I just picked a few. Well, please join us as we honor the memory of Jerry Jarecki, Jeannie's mom. Jeannie's a member here. Memorial service and reception will be held here starting at 5 p.m. on January 8th. And sign up for online for volunteer opportunities. Bring those leftover holiday cookies and help Kelly take down decorations Friday, January 5th. You can even stay for lunch with Reverend Yulin. To build community, please see the e-news for Realm training sessions or set up a time with Vicki.
Good morning. Our call to worship today is from Reverend Kathy Ryan Starr. Welcome to this place of peace. May we find some moments of quiet contemplation. Welcome to this place of celebration. May our hearts soar with gratitude for the gift of life. Welcome to this place of sacred love. May we gently hold all that is broken here. Welcome to this place of inquiry. Here, may we be challenged to open our minds and hearts ever wider. Come into this place of community. May we, together, draw the circle of love and justice ever wider. Welcome to this sacred place. Come, let us worship, celebrate, grieve, and love together.
Okay, I hope you'll please read along with me as for the chalice reading. And if you are at home, please light a candle and join in with us. In igniting this chalice, we cast upon it our hopes and intentions for all that is positive in our minds and in our hearts. May this precious light shine on.
Please rise and body your spirit to sing hymn number 58. Ring out loud bells, led by today's psalm leader, Maria O'Connor. Ring out wild bells to the wild, wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out wild bells and let it die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let it go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that hear we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress for humankind. Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right. Ring in the common love of good. We enter now a time for sharing of joys and concerns that touch our individual lives. Our way we express through ritual the many ways that we touch and are touched by each other. In a moment, you'll be invited to come to the mic to share your joy or concern. If you have something you'd rather not share aloud, you can use the QR code in the order of service or the share side of the yellow slip to put something in writing. If you need a pen or pencil, you may raise your hand and that can be offered. For those of you at home and for anyone at other times during the week, you can use the link in our weekly e-news to let us know what's going on in your lives and in your heart. Remember that what you share today is only for the ears of those gathered now. It will not be posted in the video of the service or shared in our e-news. So now come to the mic to speak or raise your hand and an usher will bring you a mic. I'll light a candle for you, and after each sharing, I invite you to all respond with me. We hold you in love. You may form a line at the side if you'd like. Please come. I'd like to share a quick candle, a candle of healing and hope for my mom who lives in Jupiter, Florida. She had leg surgery on December 14th, and it's been a rough recovery. She's starting to improve just how she feels in general and getting around, starting PT. She was home after 7 days in a rehabilitation hospital. So she was home before Christmas, but it wasn't a very good weekend or anything, and so I was a bit distracted with all of that, but she's on the mend, so thank you for the candle. And one last candle for those joys and concerns not shared, but held deep in our hearts. We hold you in love. Today's theme is inspired by the words of author and philosopher James Baldwin. He writes, "The longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship or family or romance, is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's light. Gentle work, steadfast work, life-saving work in those moments when life and shame and sorrow occlude our own light from our view, but there is still a clear-eyed, loving person to beam it back. In our best moments, we are that person for another." Baldwin's words resonate with me as 2023 comes to a close. It's been a rough school year so far in my daily work with special needs students at a middle school in Glendale, work that I love. For the first time, I've had to stand up for myself to another adult in a highly emotional and stressful situation, then felt shame and sadness for doing so. Fortunately, I have two clear-eyed, loving women on my team who radiate photons of goodwill. You'll hear that phrase again a little later. They helped me set aside any shame and sorrow I felt and beamed back light. They listened and helped me process the event. Their love was steadfast. The experience helped me to have more compassion for myself and others and feel less anxious. In the next year, not only do I hope to be that light for another person, but that we can all be that light for each other. I now welcome Helen Ambuel to introduce the Writing Circle.
Thank you, Deb. Good morning, everyone. My name's Helen Ambuel. My pronouns are she and her. The Writing Circle began in 2015. Ginny Schultz and I had heard Mary Pierce Brosmer speak at a Women's Spirit conference earlier that year. She was the founder of the nonprofit Women Writing for a Change in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was inspired to go there for training, and afterwards, Ginny and I started the Writing Circle at UUCW. In those circles, we use prompts to inspire words. We spend 10 minutes in what we call a fast write, a a time when we keep our pens moving and try to ignore our inner critics. Then we share our stream of conscious writings. Between meetings, we follow another prompt to prepare a longer, edited prose piece or poem. Sometimes, each person takes it in their own direction. Sometimes people write about something entirely different. The prompt for the writing you will hear today was the theme for January, Liberated Love, and the Baldwin quote Deb read.
Good morning. I'm Mary Hausman, and my pronouns are she, her. My piece is called The Intention to Liberate Love. We practice liberating love when we move beyond the confines of the ego or small self. We free love when we progress beyond sentimentality and passion. Liberated love is not bound by desire and the expectation of things being a certain way. It is not dependent and not conditional. I can aspire to accept things the way they are. I can strive to accept myself the way I am and others the way they are, unconditionally. The power for liberating this kind of boundless love lies in the heart of all of us. It is in our innate potential and our true nature to be loving human beings. To work at self-love is liberating and becomes the basis for offering genuine love to others. I must initially include myself in the circle of love and compassion before I can extend this to others. I have found that loving kindness meditation provides a pathway to practice this kind of open and unconditional love. First, I need to recognize and affirm that all beings are deserving of loving kindness. Love begins with kindness towards oneself. Loving kindness meditation consists in befriending oneself, then others. We honor the core of goodness in ourselves and others, our universal desire to be loved, and the right of all beings to be happy. Some would say we see and honor the divine in oneself and others. This meditation involves the recitation of a set of phrases that offer care and well-wishing to oneself and others without expectation or demand. I express my intention to plant the seeds of loving wishes over and over in my heart. We start where we are, where the aspiration for loving kindness feels most genuine. I send loving kindness to myself, then a benefactor, a friend, a neutral person, a difficult person, and finally to the larger community. It is a process of gradually extending goodwill, empathy, and compassion in ever-widening circles of relationships. We then find that we can experience a loving heart in any circumstances. This type of love has no limits and no exceptions. The practice breaks through all dualities of self and others. To love in this way is to move from separation and isolation to true connection and to participate in the fundamental oneness of all. Two teachers of Buddhist meditation offer these insights. Jack Kornfield informs us that in any moment we can step beyond our small self and embrace each other as beloved parts of a whole. Sharon Salzberg describes how we come to realize how deeply interconnected we are, and we grow in that interconnectedness. This, then, is what liberating love means to me.
Liberating Love, written by Carolyn Ruck, who couldn't be here today. Liberating love takes courage. Your shoulders ache, yet you stand on your head, juggling round reasons this love should not be allowed in. Your torment walks its tightrope, peeking down at hard, unwelcoming ground while holding your head of hope forward. Your teeter-totter is in perpetual motion, looking for a balance point. You try to squash yearnings, but your truth bubbles up, and it wants out of that tight container. You try so hard to avoid this love. You twist and finally face your angry mirror. I hate you, you say, and you try to run further and further away. You've paid attention to all the voices. You'll never be happy. You don't know what you're getting into. You're going down the wrong path. You consider going towards the blackness, wiping yourself off the planet and end to your misery, until that little pebble in your shoe rubs up at the intersection you've always known would be there. Nothing behind you matters, and you begin to love wide open.
Love evolves. Love, for me, began with my mom, the first place I knew love. Later, in love, I married Bruce. Our love deepened and expanded in our 41 years together. With my children, I was surprised by the depth and power of love. I experienced another love in my childhood. In Sunday school at the Congregational Church in Appleton, Wisconsin, I learned of Jesus' love, a caring, open-hearted love. I loved Jesus in return. My feelings of love have ranged from innocent and pure to possessive, fearful, and needy. Sometimes I needed to be pushed away to gain understanding. I needed to learn my happiness is my responsibility. I left the Congregational Church when I left home for college. My 3 sisters became fundamentalists, and I questioned my faith. Bruce introduced me to Unitarian Universalism, and I found a religion that matched my beliefs. While exploring my spirituality within the UU Wellspring program, I remembered the love ignited by Jesus in my childhood. I treasure that I understood Jesus as love. After our parents died, my sisters and I turned to each other. With the loss of Mom and Dad, we wanted to be connected to each other. Grief taught me new dimensions of love after Bruce died a few years later. Through some of the struggles my family experienced, my kids led me to more discoveries about love. I needed to learn not to give my kids my concern about their well-being. Those concerns were mine, and they didn't help them. This was not only liberating for them, it was liberating for me. Liberated love shows up as open curiosity. It honors the other. It accepts difference, celebrates existence, finds community. It allows change, movement, evolution. It offers comfort, joy, and refuge. It encourages becoming. A liberated love stands tall, feet solidly on the earth. It welcomes connection to all that is. I try to keep that in my heart as I practice loving the world.
Hello, my name is Susan Foley, and I'm going to be reading a poem called Liberating Love. Angular artifacts scattered along the way, randomly creating a design of sorts. But that is up to the viewer or the seeker. Perhaps no design at all. It is what we make it. A treasure trove or a discarded assemblage. Into each life, or certain lives, a depth is created, rich in blessings, if so noticed. The ties that bind, not always so. The void of closeness, suffering, and loss. Connections are the richness, friendships that go deep, family, our kin, no matter, a partner for life, a sharing of our strengths and vulnerabilities. Freedom to choose a path of love. Freedom to choose a liberating love that stays forever in our hearts, as it was in life, so it is now.
Thank you. Let us now rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 350, The Ceaseless Flow of Endless Time.
The ceaseless flow of endless time, no one can check or stay. We'll view the past with no regret, nor future with dismay. The present slips into the past and dreamlike melts away. The breaking of tomorrow's dawn begins anew today. The past and future ever meet in the eternal now, to make each day a thing complete shall be our New Year vow.
Here are words from Mark Ian Barash. Every now and then, I'll meet an escapee, someone who has broken free of self-centeredness and lit out for the territory of compassion. You've met them too, those people who seem to emit a steady stream of, for want of a better word, love vibes. As soon as you come within range, you feel embraced, accepted for who you are. For those of us who suspect that you rarely get something for nothing, such geniality can be discomforting. Yet it feels so good to be around them. They stand there, radiating photons of goodwill, and despite yourself, you beam back, and the world, in a twinkling, changes.
Good morning. My name's Darth. My pronouns are she, her, sometimes they. And this is my dog, George. He was from Maine, so that's George. And he's here to tell you our love story. I was a pit bull once. Yikes, too much responsibility, and I don't think I'm a manager. Then I was a golden retriever. What a pushover. Jeez, crow. I had a chance to be a Persian cat once, but I refused just on principle. So my next assignment was with you in the great state of Maine. So I was resting at the Rainbow Bridge between lives, and when 42 million stars aligned just right, my journey began. I signed up as a bearded collie to save you from yourself. I raised my paw to volunteer, and boom, there I was on my beach with a few squeaky toys and my kennel name tag that read, "This love's on me by George." You drove me home to 18 acres of fields and woods, an endless river, a powerful waterfall, and a big old farmhouse in down East Maine. You took me everywhere, even when you probably shouldn't have. Once you left me in the car and I ate your gear shift, just to show you in case you decided to do that again. You took me everywhere. You always said I was your boy, but in truth, I was your mirror. I brought you a mirror that reflected everything inside of you every time you looked at my remarkably fuzzy face. And that was my gift to you. Our first 6 months together of basic training were akin to an intensive therapy camp where you either write love letters to your inner puppy or rage at your inner puppy, then drown your inner puppy, and we survived. Even when my stupid sister Murphy showed up 2 years later, I was still your boy. Murphy came to live with us to meet new people and check her nails. But I provided an AP class in who are you really and why. We made up songs and stories for bearded collies all over the world. We played games. You'd throw the ball, then you'd look at me, then you'd retrieve the ball, which made me laugh and laugh. My adorable personality got you out of jams. My great smelling nose led you out of a dark forest after sunset. When you wanted to hide, I was your extrovert, and I owned every dog park from Maine to Wisconsin. I was a hairy magnet for conversation. Strangers would talk to you because I wouldn't let them ignore us. So you met half the people in the world, and more importantly, countless dogs. During our 15 years of fabulous adventures, my poems and stories gave voice to words deep inside you. Yet from my very first day on that rocky beach, an ache started forming in your heart as you began to grieve my inevitable departure. A lifetime of separation melted and the illusion was broken. It's like we were one dog. I was there to teach you about love, but you had so much to learn about time. Time is a human construct made up by the deep state to control our comings and goings, when actually everything is happening all at once, and that's how it should be. When I'd feel your angst about the past or the future, I would remind you to look in the mirror. I'd say, look straight through. That's love. It's always been there. It never ends. It merely changes form. I took it in stride when you moved me to the witness protection program in a state with cows and cheese curds and no lobsters. But we were together, and though a Great Lake isn't an ocean, they had some decent dog parks and wicked friendly people to jump on when they'd say, "Oh, for cute." I knew my last day was coming all too soon. Nothing can prepare humans for a goodbye, but I tried to get you ready by slowing myself down. So at age 14, I lost all sense of direction and made my eyeballs spin around. My stupid sister Murphy was still smiling and checking her nails, but I was sadly packing my toys for the bridge. And when my work on earth was complete, as hard as it was, you held me in your arms and felt the last beat of my heart. Then you let me fly across the Rainbow Bridge where all my pals were cheering my return. And that was your gift to me. So here I am again, suspended between the deep state and no time at all. 42 million stars have realigned and love continues its work. And because love is reflected in love, this love is big and mighty and everlasting. So take it with you to places where love seems not to belong. Remember back when caution was afraid to yield, then say yes to every chance you get. I'll be watching the gate for our reunion, so let me be a window in your darkest night, and I'll hang another star in the sky to light your way. Oh, I left the mirror in the house. It's by my water bowl. Lift it up and share your gifts, because now, by George, this love's on you.
Good morning. My name is Pat McFarland. My pronouns are she and her. Austin Channing Brown challenges each of us to stand up for the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I am confused by people who say they love us but they are never upset when we are treated unjustly. The two simply can't coexist. A love that's aloof isn't a love that I have any use for. I need a love that is troubled by injustice. Liberating love leads us to do what we love in places we love with people we love. You may be aware that many people of faith believe that God is love. People of faith who work for justice act on that commitment to liberating love with actions. We do what we love. And in the doing, our beloved community engages the mind, nurtures the spirit, and inspires action. Because we believe in the worth and dignity of every person, we side with love and we stand up for racial justice. We advocate and support policies that benefit those most impacted by inequity. We defend democracy, and I'm going to take this opportunity to invite you next Sunday to First Church, the First Unitarian Society, where we have Democracy Day, starting at 12:30 on Sunday. We build the beloved community as we nurture friendships. We invest in programs focused on a common good, and we build better brains for children. We extend a welcome, and we come together with amazing faith dinners because food brings us together, and I love to cook. We maintain our energy in the places we love. I love Lake Michigan. I love sailing at the Milwaukee Community Sailing Center. I can get us out there, but I need a smarter person in the boat to bring us back. I love dance halls. We used to dance here with a vegetarian folk dance potluck every month. I love chatty benches where people can break bread together and chat. Our beautiful federal building downtown holds the naturalization events where we welcome new citizens and we help them become future voters. Now, as youth, many of us probably roamed the neighborhood on bicycles. Could I just have a show of hands if you were that kind of kid? Oh, yeah. And that's where we found some diverse places. We found a way to develop our emotional maturity. And in doing that, we managed our differences, providing us with stability and growth through those experiences. These early experiences helped us connect with society, the backbone of our human connection. Now, people, we all belong. Could you say that? We all belong. Liberating love helps us remain curious, compassionate, and courageous with all people. Let our love not be aloof. Let us remember that we need a love that drives us forward. Liberating love not only helps us overcome loneliness, it helps us rest in love. And so when we need more energy, do what you love in places you love with the people you love.
The Glass Darkly's Gentle Work by Kate Walkowski. Gentle work, steadfast work, life-saving work in those moments when life and shame and sorrow occlude our wan light from our view. But there is still a clear-eyed, loving person to beam it back. James Baldwin. Down with the unseen monster, we report in from home today. Gentle work defies time and space, and we Zoom with each other on our little screens. Roll is taken, a list is made, candles are lit, perfect peace. Centered in the eye of technology's hurricane, we play our symphony of pens and pencils. Centered in the eye of technology's hurricane, well, I just said that. We play our symphony of pens and pencils in time with the prompt. Touched down and grounded, I thought I had something. It was nothing, and yet somehow, I digress. Everyone's a soloist. I stand up on my SOS on sick waves of cursive that could include cursing mightily. And then the cacophony we call readback. When I thought I had nothing, I hear my song played by others, and whoa, that is something. We are not alone. We are all alone, together. For now, we see each other through a glass darkly, but clear-eyed, and loving, our lights are beamed back.
Rather than tears down. It nurtures rather than destroys. Love is a burning energy for good, for kindness, for generosity, and for compassion. Love comes alive in the service of others, in the promotion of justice, and in the willingness to dialogue rather than argue, to accept rather than condemn, and to be empathic rather than judgmental. Love can't be put under a microscope and examined or placed in a test tube for research. Trying to write about love feels like striving to fit the ocean into a thimble. In the book A Wind Swept Over the Waters by John Nichols, the author writes, Viktor Frankl, who has written about his life as a prisoner in Nazi death camps, remembered that those in the camps who had no strong attachments to other people, to hopes and dreams, or to God, died quickly, for they had nothing to believe in but their bodies, which were imprisoned. Those who communed in their thoughts and dreams with someone they loved survived much longer. Standing up for the poor stems from a heart full of love. Speaking up for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer plus people begins with a soul burning with love. Working for change in interracial relationships grows from having an open mind and a ready heart. Meeting with Indigenous peoples whose lives and lands we've stolen must be fueled by a flaming love of justice, restitution, and harmony. I have found real love later in life. On our wedding day, August 20th, 2022, I said these words to my beloved. Dear one, 29 years ago, you walked into my life and our adventure together began. In you, I discovered a love so beautiful and life-giving. My darling, I keep falling in love with you over and over. How you delight me with your playfulness and your clever sense of humor. Your thoughtfulness, kindness, and patience have helped me learn to be open and trusting. I laugh with you, cry with you, and grow with you. This morning, I'm standing here declaring aloud what we've already known. I love you, Kathy. I thrill at how our eyes sparkle when we look at each other. Let me take your hand as we dance into married life. I promise to cherish, support, uplift, and honor you and our relationship. I vow to be with you in the light and to hold you in the shadows. You are my best friend, my confidant, my constant joy. Together, we will continue to embrace live theater, travel to distant places, and share our lives with those we love. In your presence, I find intimate companionship, gentle compassion, and a warmth of understanding. I promise to invite you to keep growing. I will rejoice in your successes and comfort you in disappointments. I welcome you into my heart, dear wife and lifelong beloved companion. As Charles Dickens once said, a loving heart is the truest wisdom. May our lives burn with acts of loving kindness and compassion.
As you know, each month we give half of all undesignated offerings to a nonprofit organization to address human needs and advance social justice in our community. On the recommendation of YRUU, which is UUCW's high school youth group, our Split the Plate partner for December is Allies for Teens in Foster Care. The statistics facing the 630 teen youth currently in foster care in Milwaukee County are indeed grim. It is disheartening to know that 70% of female foster youth will be pregnant by the time they reach 21, and that 50% of youth who age out of foster care will develop substance abuse problems. However, there is still hope. Allies believes the community would be better equipped to help these vulnerable and talented kids if they knew how. By serving as a bridge between the resources in the community and the teens and adult caregivers who desperately need them, Allies strives to make a positive impact in the lives of these young individuals. Your offering today will help support Allies for Teens in Foster Care, or you can go to the UUCW website's Donate tab and select Split the Plate from the menu. Or text or mail your donation today using the information found here. Thank you for your generosity, and we will now gratefully receive your offering. I'm only wearing the crown because I love purple. Anyone who'd like to join us in our final song, may grab a hat, I can deliver anything. Just raise your hand. I found them, so I thought I'd bring them. First, I'd like to thank my board rep today, Kathy White, Maria O'Connor, our song leader, Jenny Horvath, our pianist, for this morning's service. I want to thank all of the writers and readers who contributed to today's service, and all of the staff here at UUCW who've helped me this past month. It is New Year's Eve morning. Let's sing about old friends and times gone by. Happy New Year, and please rise in body or spirit to sing the words which are listed in our order of service, and then please remain standing for the final benediction.
Should old acquaintance be New Year.
If here you have found stillness, create a deep well in your own life to protect and preserve it. If here you have found peace, let it be a beacon for those who need to find it as well. If here you have found love, allow it to blossom in your life. If here you have found courage, offer this as a gift to someone who needs it as much as you do. May your days ahead be blessed with the gifts of stillness, peace, love, and courage. These words from Reverend Ann Mason. Happy New Year.